Started.
Two Dog Man. Starts off with e4. Well, how about a Sicilian? Maybe a con Sicilian. I've been wanting to play a... Oh. Okay, he does something unusual. So he's going for... This is the Maroczy bind. He's going for the Maroczy bind immediately. In a way, this is like the English opening, I guess. With c4 and d4. Okay. This is not a... Here, let's get the light squared bishop outside the pawn chain and maybe play the move e6 to control the d5 square. Pawn to e6, bishop e7, castle. And I've got my pieces, I think, reasonably well set. This bishop probably will have to be traded off for a knight. Okay, do I want to worry about what's going on the queen side? Let's see, he's opened us up, so there's a check here if I want it. But it doesn't do much. He can play b4 here. Takes... I mean, the question is, do I want to prevent b4? Maybe it's worthwhile. It looks like b4 would be annoying. And this looks like a good knight here. I want to keep it there for a while. I still want to have time to develop my pieces, so bishop to e7, also defending the d6 pawn. He gets in knight to b5, hitting d6. So that's maybe one point of his setup. But I got all my pieces out and I castled. And like I said, the only odd piece here maybe is this bishop, which I don't know how long it's going to last here if he kicks it. So let's think about what comes next. I could push on with a5 to a4, a5 to a4, and make this pawn backwards and play queen to b6 to attack the pawn. Not that it would win it, because he can always play rook b1 and chase my queen away and grab this pawn. Yeah, so now I have to decide. The bishop doesn't have a lot of scope, is the problem. See, it can't come back here. If it comes back here, where is it going from there? Here. So I think really I just want to trade it. I'm going to settle for having a dark squared bishop. Maybe a knight maneuver is in order here. Knight to e5 hits his bishop, and he probably doesn't want to trade it, so he would retreat. And then the knight could go to, well, the knight could just sit there for a while, and if it gets kicked, it can go to g6. And then queen c7 and rook to queen c7 and rook to d8, and just try and push through in the center. Queen c7 walks into this knight. Yeah, queen c7, he has knight to b5, kicking the queen, which is kind of annoying. Queen b6. I'm not sure that does much. Queen e7. Maybe queen e7. D7 rather. Queen d7, just sitting here. It's not, the knight's not going to kick it. The light squared bishop can't easily get pressure on the queen there, and I've connected my rooks. I can still play one rook or another to d8, maybe queen back to e8, something like that, or out along this diagonal. Yeah, the a4 square was guarded. His queen and his knight were guarding that square, so I couldn't actually push to a4. Oh, okay, so he wants to open it up. I think that's okay for me. Yeah, so I'm just going to go back. The knight is just going back to c6. Kicks the bishop, see if he wants to trade it. He doesn't want to trade his bishop, so So the rook to the c file. This is now a bit of a target. The c pawn. Not entirely a target just yet. Well, knight to e5 actually threatens to win that pawn. And he can play b3 to defend it. We'll see. Interesting position. Okay. So now he can push with e5 here. It hits my knight and hits the pawn, and if I take it exposes the queens for a trade. He takes back. I guess I would take the queens off. Maybe now is a good time to get the other rook to the center of the board here. I think I will take, but my rooks will be well placed for the position that opens up, and his pawns may be a little bit loose. He's pushed them forward. I have maybe some weak pawns on the queen side. My king looks relatively secure, and his king looks a bit open. Maybe if I trade off this dark squared bishop, that should be my objective. Trade off that dark squared bishop. Okay, so we got his queen off of this line. If I play d5 now, we can put a rook on the d file, I guess. That would be an interesting counter. If I play e5, pawn takes, knight takes, perhaps. And if he pushes, I've sort of blocked his attack a bit. Not sure about that move. Yeah, he just pushed. Okay. So how do I move this forward? Pawn. Maybe I should sacrifice a pawn over here. Pawn to a4, just so I can move my knight to a5 and attack here. But then he can defend it. Knight here doesn't look like it does a whole lot. He may be threatening g4 or g5. Okay, I am going to try to play knight to h7 and bishop to g5 and exchange this dark squared bishop. Let's see, the bishop can come in here. Okay, he wants to trade off this guy. Not sure how he's taking back. He's taking back, yeah, he has to take back with a pawn. So that kind of secured this pawn structure for me. But I guess the problem is that it kicked this knight. The knight doesn't have a great square to go to. Now I can play knight to, yeah, that's what it is. I move the knight with a tempo on the queen. So I can actually play knight to d4 here, hitting the bishop and the queen, and trade it off for the light squared bishop. Get rid of his bishop pair.
Check.
Now what? Probably doubling on the c file, right? The rook could go all the way up to, let's see, it can't go here, 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 or here. Okay, sorry about that. I thought I had a space there. There is no space there. I could throw in a4 first. Let's see, is he threatening f6? This may be an idea. Pawn to f6, bishop takes. Then bishop takes this pawn. If I take the bishop, he takes my bishop. That could be a bit annoying. Okay, so let's stop that first. Maybe queen e7, bishop g5 to trade off this bishop. Yeah, okay, so he's threatening to take here because of the pin. So let's unpin. And let's shore up the dark squares here with bishop. So I don't know if bishop to g5 is really a move here. Rook to c2 is a move, though. Asking him how to defend, if he plans to defend his b-pawn, how he plans to do it. Okay, so he first attacks my rook. I'm wondering, rook to g1 might be a useful move. Threatening to push rook g8, threatening to push the g-pawn forward. I like it better than lifting the rook up to... Okay, so he grabbed a pawn. So let's go ahead and go after the b-pawn here. That's interesting. So he defends the b-pawn and threatens to trap my rook. So bishop here controls the this square, the c1 square. So he can't oppose rooks. I don't know if he can chase my rook away. If his queen could get on this light square diagonal, it could threaten my rook. Like queen g3 to d3 might be a way to try and win my trapped rook. Okay, he's just going to push here. Let's no, that's not a good idea. His queen is still looking at the c8 square indirectly through this pawn. So I put a rook on c8. He can play he can play pawn to f6, hitting my queen and hitting the rook. So what can I do? Let's can blockade this f6 square and then play rook c6. He found a way there to yeah, I was a little worried about that. So I have to take the bishop, I guess. I was hoping to get on rook c8 first so I could take and at least win a pawn. I could take over here. Does that do anything? No. Okay, so can I do anything with my bishop? My bishop is managed to find somewhat of a role here. Okay, just rook here. Maybe rook all the way to c5, hitting this pawn on e5. Having a dark squared bishop is not all bad. Okay, let's defend the b-pawn. I may be able to get an attack going on the dark squares here. Bishop here, queen here, threatening mate in the corner. If he allows it. I guess I can't really play queen here, not that easily. I could take on c5. His queen is guarding g3 is what I mean. So queen here, he just trades. But rook takes c5, queen takes, queen here, threatening checkmate. And how does he stop it? He can't defend that square. And if he moves his king, check. King goes here, check with the bishop. King goes here. Queen takes pawn. Not entirely clear that that's winning. Okay, but he decides to defend the g3 square anyway. Does leave his rook loose in the corner. So what should I do? I could play here, here, and I guess not. Here, here. Here is possible. But what does it do? I think bring the queen back. He can kick my bishop now, and I can run back to g5, I guess. Queen to c8 is the idea. Okay, he's just going there. Have to take. Can't allow that. So this comes with a little tempo. I hit the rook, and I'm threatening the pawn. He plays rook to a5, I guess, or there. Okay. Okay, I took. Now he's got a problem on the back rank. Maybe I can exploit it. Since my bishop is covering his only escape square. I'm low on time here. I better watch my speed here. Okay, what does he play? He could just take my bishop and say, that's enough of that. Okay, I want to threaten something. If I go here, I'm not really threatening because the queen guards that square. But if I go here, threatening the check here. On threaten the check on a1. Okay, his rook went here. Can I exploit this pawn? Maybe not. Not so easy to see how to do that. Yeah, well, I don't know. I can't do anything. Okay, 19 seconds. I should move more quickly. He needs to find a way to defeat me still, so maybe that will do it. If the queen leaves home, then I'm going to start giving checks down here, or threatening his rook. For example, queen takes f7 is possible. Queen here, check is possible. But I'm not getting mated. I mean, the worst that can happen here is a perpetual check, which he can pretty much do at any time anyway. Yeah, maybe I should have gone to c3 here to threaten queen g3 again. Looked like a serious threat. But he can always play his rook here. Let's see, do I have checks after that? He goes with his rook here, check here, rook back, queen up. Yeah, maybe I can get a perpetual out of this. 18 seconds. Okay, so he goes there. That's interesting. I guess I have to take it. Can't let myself get mated. Maybe he's thinking of cashing out into some kind of endgame. Like rook takes. Everything's protected here. Checks don't accomplish anything. The queen by itself cannot mate me. So now that I've eliminated the pawn there. Well, if I get a draw out of this game, that'll be a convenient escape. Okay, he's not going for the draw. Let's attack his rook. He goes there. Okay, well, let's threaten checkmate. He's going to maybe check me here.
Check.
Checkmate here with the queen. Ah.
Checkmate.
Okay. Well, it's tough to find all those moves when you're low on time. Anyway, good game. I will upload this and do a postmortem. See you guys later. Bye.